Great news. Dirty Keto is now on Amazon. If you're living in the U.S., go straight to Amazon and get Dirty Keto. Watch it, rate it, and review it. If you're outside of the U.S., meaning Western Europe or Canada or Mexico, it's not there yet. Don't ask me why. Listen, those people made me put a PG-13 rating on it when there was nothing in it that would have caused that. But let's get ahead of this thing. Let's watch it, rate it, and review it. Go get Dirty Keto right now, and on with the show.
Thanks for listening to Vinny Tortorich on NSNG Lifestyle Audio. Welcome to Fitness Confidential One-on-One. Vinny Tortorich, founder of NSNG, goes long form with top luminaries in the field of health and fitness.
I am Vinny Tortorich. Folks, your good intentions have been stolen, but don't worry, I'm here to help you get them back. You may be soft and succulent at the beginning of this process, but hang in there. Before long, you will be lean and mean, guaranteed. Slipping into the future. Yeah, I feel like that sometimes.
Yes.
There's more time behind me than in front of me. That's for damn sure.
That's absolutely true.
Folks, that beautiful voice you're hearing on the other mic, that's none other than Miss Meagan Hawks. Meagan, I've been doing something for a couple of podcasts here where on the Friday show, well, it's twofold, and I'll tell you how this came about.
Okay.
So many people have asked me, hey, man, bring the Saturday show back. I found that to be the most inspirational show you had. Now, if you're new to the show, we used to do 5 shows a week, and the Saturday show was listener stories, like people coming in, and everyone found those to be very inspirational. And I went away from them because we went down to 3 podcasts a week, and there's a reason for that. When you put up 5 shows a week, people start going, hey, you should have so-and-so on, or maybe you should talk about this. And I'll go, yeah, we just had so-and-so on, and we just spoke about that. And then they would admit, oh, you put too many shows up. We can't get to all of them. Oh, wait, I forgot to put a cap on for this show. I had an orange one on last show. Here we go.
Oh, man, I should go get mine.
Yeah, go get yours while I'm telling the story.
We could be twinning. Okay.
Yeah. So people started saying to me, yeah, I like those stories. So when we started the VIP group is whenever I do those check-ins twice a month, there's a lot of, hey, I learned a lot from that guy or from that woman, right? So I keep learning that I forget that people learn from each other. And the VIP group has gotten me to realize that. So I went, you know what? Instead of having these same doctors on week in and week out, and by the way, there are more and more doctors. I remember when it finally hit me, I had a doctor on, I won't say who it was, but it was a brand new doctor who just figured out low carb 5 minutes earlier and started talking about things that everyone knew back in 2013. It was like, if you cut out carbohydrates, you can lose weight. It was like, yeah, got it, sister. Yeah, and that's when I went, you know what, I'm getting sick of this. So I'm going to still have experts on the Friday show, but I'm peppering in a bunch of people like Meagan, because Meagan has been there and back. Meagan also, for no pay whatsoever, volunteers. I guess that's what no pay means.
Volunteer.
She volunteers to run the Facebook group over there, and you do a great job, along with, who else is on there right now?
There is Kurt.
Oh, boy. Okay, go on.
Kurt Lapeard, as you would call him, and Allison.
Allison,
And
her name is,
Salbeck.
yeah, she's got a weird last name. She's done incredible, by the way, with her
She
weight
has
loss.
done incredible.
I want to get her back on. She hasn't been on the show in a while.
You need to have her back on. She looks amazing.
Yeah. Can you remind me, Megan, because I'm gonna be uploading until 1:00 in the morning. So please remind me to bring Allison back.
Sure.
She was on
And then
that
there's
Saturday
Mark
show.
Thompson.
Yeah, he runs the night shift, as we call it, because he's a half a world away over in Australia, and he runs the night shift. Who else do we have?
He does run the night shift. And then we have Ruel.
Ruel Abadam, who is an old. He's OG. He's as OG as you get.
He's OG. Yep.
Yeah.
He is as OG as you get.
Yeah.
So I believe, I hope I'm not missing anybody, but I believe that's it right now.
Okay, and you guys run that Facebook group, and there's over like 30,000 people in there. How many people are in there?
I think we're close to 34,000 people.
It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. And we really do appreciate those people, and a lot of them are in the VIP group, and I get to talk to them. And it's really, when people write to me and go, hey, thanks for having so-and-so in the VIP group, I don't have anyone. It's whoever wants to pop in and tell their story, whether it's a success story or a failure story. We all learn something from it. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's the deal. And I was talking to Meagan the other day because she can have my ear whenever she wants because, well, she's cute. And that's the way I work.
Why, thank you.
And you started talking about bikes.
We did.
And I was like, wait a minute. Everyone else may be interested because, folks, don't tune out because we're going to talk about more than bikes here. But you had a lot of the same questions that everyone will have when they start getting into the cycling game. And since I spent from 1983 or 84 through probably 2015 spending way too much time on a bike, I do have some knowledge about it. I'm a professional
Yes, you do.
bike fitter, and I've ridden bikes professionally. A mountain bike. I had a mountain bike contract at one time, and I know my way around a bicycle. But before that, let's introduce you to the audience, Megan. How old are you, if you don't mind saying?
I am 54.
You don't look it.
Why, thanks.
You don't look it at all. So that's number one. Number two, what was your highest weight?
My highest weight, well, I'm not exactly sure. I was 300 pounds, and then I quit checking. So
300 was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done checking. And how tall?
I'm 5. We're going to stretch it to 5'5". I'm a little over 5'4".
So 5'4", 300 pounds. You were, I'm going to call it the way it is, Megan. I don't mince words. You were as wide as you are tall. You were, you had some size on you.
I did.
And to be that big, 300 pounds at 5'4", medical issues, right? I mean, things happen.
Right. I had high blood pressure forever. My cholesterol was high. I had just been diagnosed that I was type 2 diabetic, and GERD was a huge issue for me as well.
So where were your A1Cs? Do you know?
Yeah. My A1C when they called and said I was diabetic was 7.9.
Okay. So go on.
And that was like just a few days before Christmas, they called and told me. So that day I gave up sugar, and then I started kind of doing some research and how to reverse diabetes with food, because I didn't want to obviously take insulin or anything like that. And so it was a couple weeks before my appointment when I went back. And when I went back, I'd lost 7 pounds. I gave up sugar. I found you. I gave up sugar and lost 7 pounds in that 2 weeks. And my doctor was awesome. He's like, you know what? Let's just let you keep doing what you're doing before we put you on any medication. You know, he did suggest I go to their nutritionist or their diabetic classes, but I didn't. I just kept following what you were talking about, and I went back every 3 months for a year to check my A1C.
And how did that change over the year?
Over the years, so my first 3-month check, so I started at 7.9, and then my next one was like 6.2. And then 3 months after that, it was 5.7. And then 3 months after that, it was 5.4. And then now I ranged, from year to year, I've been as low as 4.7.
Okay. I want to make a point here.
Mm-hmm.
Without using medications,
Mm-hmm.
without getting on a GLP-1,
Yep.
you went from type 2 diabetic to non-diabetic at 5.4. You're now non-diabetic in 9 months. I just did the math.
In 9 months. I was not, it even says on my, how they give you the whole little readout and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He even says, he said, I'm not diabetic. I don't even have to write it down. But now people say I'm just in remission. But I'll live that way the rest of my life.
Okay. Listen, I love how medicine can't give us one buy round.
Right.
When I have people telling me I've had irritable, IBS, bowel syndrome, right? They'll go, okay, I've had it for 20 years. I went low carb. I did NSNG, and it's completely gone away. And my doctor will say, no, it hasn't gone away. You still have the problem. And I say, well, wait, I don't have any symptoms. And I can eat normal foods. And it's like, yeah, but you still have IBS. No, you don't. You have solved the problem. End of story. Same with Crohn's disease. Oh, Vinny, you can never get rid of Crohn's. Okay, but if all the symptoms are gone and you have no inflammation in that pus that sits in your intestines that screws up everything, if all of that is gone and you can go off of all of your medications, why are these doctors still going, oh, no, you have it. It's in remission. Okay.
Well, I think because the average American probably, you have people who lose weight however they choose to do it. And then they go back once they hit their magic number or whatever, go back to eating the same way. And then, right, if I went and started eating sugar and grains again, eventually I'd probably get there.
Oh, not eventually. So you would get there.
I would.
Yeah, you would get there.
Quick, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's why now they're terming it as remission versus just I don't have it. So it's interesting.
Well, look, I've often said when people would come to me when I was still training people full time, they would go, how long is it going to take me to lose this 50 pounds? And I would say to them, okay, see you later. And they'll go, what are you talking about? I was like, I'm going to go now. And then, I would do it for effect. And I would get up and say, wait, well, what did I say? It's like, listen, if you're trying to get to a destination, you're going to get there and you're going to go right back. You got to quit thinking about the destination. You got to stop thinking about the end, because when you get there, you can't go, now I have it under control. I'm going to go do it again. That's like, and I would use the example of the alcoholic. If an alcoholic dries up and does AA and goes religiously every day for 5 years, and then they go, okay, I got it under control. In that group, they'll say, one drink is too many, 1,000 is never enough. The same happens to anyone. Would you agree?
Right. I totally agree. That's totally how it works. And, when I started this, I was that person. I thought, oh, it'll take me a year. I'll lose 100 pounds in a year and then I'll be done, right? You think you're going to be done, but as you go, it's probably a good thing it took me several years to get to that first 100 pounds. It becomes a lifestyle. And you don't want to change it, because the day that you go and you lil or whatever you choose to do, I feel like crap afterwards. So, but I did have that. I wanted, the fast food mentality. I wanted it, and I wanted it in a year, and I thought I would get there. And I had to learn that this wasn't a diet, that this was actually my new lifestyle. If I want to be healthy and I want to stay healthy and I don't want to go back to where I was, that I have to keep going for the rest of my life. And you know what? I don't miss any of that other stuff. I'd rather have a steak. I'm not gonna
lie. She just used a term that we use in the groups. It's a term my trainer came up with called life into living, and we turned it into putting a little life into living. So in other words, I don't believe, for anyone who's new to this podcast, I don't believe in cheat days or cheat meals or once a month cheat. I believe in when a situation arises, you put LIL, and they call it in the group LIL, life into living. It's your wife's birthday. It's your daughter's birthday. It's Christmas, and someone made your favorite cake. Yeah, I'm just making up events. It's the 4th of July, and you're at a hot dog eating contest or whatever, which I'm against, those hot dog eating. It's like it's gluttony. I'm not even religious, but it's gluttony at its worst, and we're applauding people for overeating, and it's very unhealthy. But life into living is doing something when an occasion pops up and you want to just blow it out, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So that's what it means. I do it very, very seldom. Usually I'm in Europe when it happens, or Louisiana. Which my wife is from Europe and I'm from Louisiana. And if someone is having a crawfish boil and they say, hey, you got to try this corn on the cob that we boiled in this crawfish, I'm having it, right? I'm not going to, I'm not going to not do it. Right. And when I'm in England and they say, oh, you must try the Scottish egg, I'm going to go do it. That's how they talk over there. So that's what life into living is. Meagan, you lost 100 pounds, so that brings you from 300 and something down to 200 and something, early 200s.
Yep. I've lost 140.
That's what I was going to bring up. You're at 160 now?
Yeah, yes, I had lost 150. I, started working out and doing some other things, menopause, lots of things, lack of sleep. So, but yeah, I first thought that it would take me just the year to lose 100. You have your head in the sky a little bit. And then it was 2 years that I lost the 100. So, and then a year with nothing, and then started to lose again.
And then lost another 50. Now, at one point, I've tried to tell you a story a few times on the podcast, but I think I screw it up. We were talking one time, and you said, Vinny, I love you and all, but I'm going to go high protein and see what's doing over there. And I said, okay, I'll be here to catch you. Pretty much what I said, right? Yes. And you were like, yeah, but everyone's saying, I was like, yeah, I'm here for you, doll. You go do what you go do you. Isn't it horrible when someone's that pompous and I know exactly what's going to happen?
Right.
So
exactly.
Tell the audience, tell the story. What was the high protein diet? How did you change things? And what happened when you did it?
So I did go high protein and probably a little bit lower fat. That was what I tried to do because I had not been losing weight and I just wanted to see what else was going to happen. And so I started eating that way. I actually probably before, and the reason why too, I'm going to go back a little bit. So I had gained 40 pounds. You take your eye off the prize a little bit and you gain. It's so easy to gain back if you just lose a little bit of focus. And so I had gained the 40 pounds, and that's when we were talking and decided that I was going to go high protein. It was suggested to me also by my doctor. So I did that, and what I noticed was, first off, it's very hard for me to eat high protein. I'm not going to lie.
Well, how did you change your diet? Were you eating more meat? Were you eating more eggs? What were you doing?
I was eating more lean meat, not steak or anything like that. I was eating fish and chicken, tuna. It was depressing. I'm not going to, it was horrible. I'm not going to lie about that. It was hard, and I lower fat. So then I was hungry a lot as well, right? Because I had the lower fat. I was only eating low fat meats. I got super depressed where there would be days where I don't even know how I functioned kind of during that time, depressed, which depression is never really anything I've ever dealt with. So that was the first of that. And it didn't take long before I was like, no, I think maybe I did it for 2 months. I was going to go for 3 months. I didn't make it. And I said, I couldn't do it. The depression part of it was rough. So I quit that, called you and started back just NSNG.
And you gained weight while you were doing it, right? Or did you gain the weight beforehand? I can't remember how that works.
I gained the weight beforehand. I had gained the weight back beforehand. I had just lost my job. And I mean, there was a lot of things, right? So
that can make you depressed too. Yeah.
Right. The depression piece was there. And then I thought, okay, let's do this because I gained the weight and wanted to be, try it out. So I did. And then, but it just, for me, it didn't work. And called you and came back crying.
And you ended up losing all the weight you had gained and lost your depression.
Yeah, I ended up losing the 40 pounds plus, I think, 30 more. It was 70. I think it was 70, 75 pounds is what I had lost in that time.
Yeah, I was trying to explain that.
When I came back to NSNG.
I was talking about it on a different podcast, but I didn't give you that much credit. I said, oh, she lost all the way back plus 10 pounds, but you lost the 40 plus another 30.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
so,
I did.
Yeah, you really got down. When did and I know you were a swimmer, and the swimming was, I want to say, the first thing you did, or am I making that up?
No, the swimming was the first thing I did. I was a swimmer in junior high and high school, and so I loved the pool. I would do that all the time if I could.
Okay.
But yeah, so I started swimming and then decided, I'd lost the weight and I'd had on my bucket list to do a triathlon. So I thought, let's just go do it. So I trained for a couple months and did a sprint and failed.
How did you fail? Talk about that.
Okay. How about this? I came out of the water in my age group. Let's preface that. In my age group, I came out of the water like number 3.
Okay.
And I get up to the bikes, everybody's bikes are still on the rack, ready to go. And
right.
I'm like, yes, that's so awesome. So I take off on my bike and everybody passed me.
Yeah.
So I hadn't even practiced cycling I had my Peloton, but that's not the same as a road bike. I had been on the road before that race only once.
Are you serious? I didn't know that part.
Yeah. Yeah.
God.
Yeah. I just, here we go. So everybody passed me on the bike. I finished the race. I got to the run. I was totally tired. And wondering what I got myself into. I had practiced a couple, in the gym, because I was in Arizona at the time. So it's too hot to be outside and do the swim, bike, and run. So I would do it all in the gym and brick it all together. And, I thought, oh, no problem. I'm just going to go do it. So I came back to Washington and did this race. And it was a good eye opener. But here's the lovely thing of it. Is I went back to Arizona. My cousins lived there and I stayed with them. And I told him everything that happened. Everybody passed me on the bike and he's a cyclist as well. He's like, well, let's sign up for a metric century. And I was like, I just tried to ride like 20 miles and failed. but anyway, so we had like 6 weeks to train for that. He was awesome. He's like 71 years old and he's a cyclist as well. So he got up with me every morning, 5 a.m. because that's what time you have to ride in Arizona. And we trained. And I, in some point in there, fell in love with my bicycle. So I have a bicycle in Arizona and I have a bicycle here.
Yeah, so look, that's what happens with the bike. It's easy to fall in love with the sport. By the way, folks, a metric century is around 66 miles, which is 3 times the distance or more than she did in the triathlon. And by the way, I've often said when I've been out to triathlons with so many clients over the years that I've trained to be in them, and I would always say, you look at the first guys out of the water, and you're looking at a bunch of losers. It just means that they're the best swimmers in the world. Like they were on their college swim team. They were this, they were that. but you put a swimmer on the bike. You know, that's like asking a fish to run a road race, right? It's like
Exactly.
well,
it's the perception is like, oh, I'm going to be ahead of everybody because I am a swimmer, right?
right.
Yeah, but if you don't know the longest part of the race, which is the cycling part, you're just kind of screwed.
And the part where you could do the most damage, because if everyone else is going, like if you're going 15 miles an hour and the people who can ride are doing 22 miles an hour, they're picking up 7 miles every hour on you. So they're going to pass you like you're stopped, you know.
Oh, yeah. Even kids were passing me. It was like,
yeah,
I didn't come in last. How about that? I didn't come in last.
That's good.
So there we go.
But think about it. 20 miles is, you know, if you're going 15 and they're going, you know, how fast do you figure you were going? Was it even 15? I'm giving you credit.
Then? Oh, no. I was probably like 10, 11 miles an hour back then.
Yeah, and people who can sprint, they were probably doing 25-ish if it's a flat course. So they were more than doubling their speed in 1 hour, right? So they were off the bike in 45 minutes, and it took you an hour and a half, you know, double the time.
Exactly.
So good that you saw that, and this gentleman got with you and said, hey, I'll teach you how to ride. Is this when I come in when you called me and you were training too hard, or are you still in your own at this point? Because at some point you were like, I'm losing power or something.
Yeah, that race was totally on my own. I think I lost you.
I'm here. Can you not see me?
Okay.
Yeah,
my
here.
video is frozen, but that's okay.
No, so, I can hear you and see you and everything.
Okay, perfect. So the first race I did totally on my own. I just decided I was going to give it a go. And then it was my second. So I did the metric century in November, and then I turned around and I did one in April, I believe. And that was the one where I was training too much. All
right. So explain what you were doing at that time when you started going overboard. Because when you told me this, I said, Meagan, you can't do that workout. And you said, why, am I a wimp? I said, no, in my best day, I didn't train like that. When I was a stud cyclist, I didn't train like that. But it's what people do. It's like, well, some is okay, more is better, and the most is even better, right? You know, it becomes, what was that old saying? Something becomes the detriment of something else. I can't remember what it is.
Right.
You know.
Right. So how I was training then is I would be going to the gym. Well, first I would ride my bike in the morning. So I was riding then 5 days a week. I would ride my bike in the morning, and then in the evening I would go to the gym and I would do push-pull legs, right? So I was then, after I would lift, then I would do sprints on the treadmill. Yeah. So I just kind of made up my own little sprint exercise where I'd walk and then I would sprint, and then I'd walk for so many minutes and then I'd sprint for so many minutes, and I would build up my speed as I went, and I couldn't I was having a hard time recovering. So then I gave you a call at that point because my quads were killing me.
And what did I tell you to do?
Slow down, take rest days. Actually, I think you told me the next couple days I couldn't work out. And that was really hard when you're used to working out and then I worked out those 5 days a week, and then I would go, then I would go hiking, or I would do something, you know. So I was always, every single day, there was no rest days. So you told me I'd take a couple days off, and those were a struggle to get through. But I did listen to you on like how many hours to ride on the bike per week and how to structure my week on the rides. And then,
and did it work out? It all worked out, right?
It did, actually. I took those 2 days and I was right back to where I felt great again. And then I stayed structured to what you had told me to do.
The part people always miss in all of this is we don't get stronger when we work out harder and harder. We get stronger when we're resting, when your body is absorbing what you did. And I get it. People, type A personalities, that's how you get fat. I'm not going to just eat some stuff. I'm going to eat all of it with a vengeance. And then when you go in the other direction and you go, oh, I like the cycling thing, I'm going to do it better than everyone else. I mean, I've done several podcasts with the greatest aerobic athlete of all time, Mark Allen. And Mark Allen did all of his training in zone 2. Never broke out of it. Never did sprint on a treadmill after a leg workout. That's for damn sure. I mean, you were doing more than the greatest. ESPN called him the greatest aerobic athlete of all time. Lance Armstrong, I've told the story several times. When he was dating Sheryl Crow, he was out climbing and training in the same mountains we trained in L.A., right, in the Santa Monica Mountains, which mimics the Alps, the steep roads and everything else. And, of course, some of his teammates like Dave Zabriskie would come out there and all of those guys would come out and train with him. And then I would be back at the local coffee shop and there's guys going, bro, I passed Lance today. I fucking dropped Lance Armstrong. No, you didn't drop Lance. Lance was staying in zone 2, right? He had someone in a car behind him saying, drop it back, crack it back a bit. You're going too hard. He's not worried about beating you in the Santa Monica Mountains. He's worried about beating someone in the Tour de France, in the Alpes d'Huez or Mont Ventoux or wherever else he is in France, in one of those mountains. He doesn't care about some dude going back to the coffee shop, right? It's just the way it is.
Right.
Those guys stay in zone 2. When they're done, they go home and rest. Of course, they don't have anything else to do. Someone's cooking for them. They have a masseuse or a masseur come in, and, they rest for the rest of the day. And they just don't overtrain. That's the key. Mark Allen would tell me
exactly
the same deal. Mark Allen would say, if I got to a mountain and I couldn't stay in zone 2, I would get off my bike and walk. Just walk the bike. That's crazy, right? But
that is crazy.
No one has won more Ironmans than him, period. So, when you started resting, you started getting stronger. You started doing less to go further. Crazy how that works, right?
Yeah, it was crazy how that worked.
So I want to get into
it was awesome.
I want to get into the nerdy stuff.
Okay, let's get nerdy.
But before we get nerdy, I need to tell people that you need Villa Capelli. It's just, look, I'm not making this up. Do you use Villa Capelli, Meagan, at all?
That's all I use.
Okay. Am I kidding when I say it's the best tasting olive oil in the world?
It is the best tasting olive oil in the world. It's got that nice little peppery back end of it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, and by the way, Meagan doesn't get paid to say that. I do. So listen to Meagan. You want to save money on Villa Capelli.
Yeah, listen to me.
Yeah, listen to Meagan. Whatever you do, listen to Meagan. There's no seed oils. This stuff comes right from Puglia. Puglia is the area that the Stallones came from. Sylvester Stallone and my favorite Stallone, Frank, their family came from Puglia. Their father came from there. He was a barber, came to the United States to do better. But yeah, that's where those olives are grown. You want to save 10%, put in promo code Vinnie, VINNIE, 10% every single time. Folks, if you missed what I just said, go back 15 seconds and listen again. Don't turn this podcast off and go ask me on Twitter. What's that olive oil company you always talk about? Go back 15 seconds. Villa Capelli, put in promo code Vinnie. And if you want to save extra money, spend more than $125 after discount, and you'll get free shipping. So I'll do the math. $140 minus 10% puts you at $126. You'll get free shipping and a great deal, 10% off. Villa Capelli. Meagan, you called me because now you're starting to nerd out on bikes.
I am nerding out on bikes.
And
big time.
Go on.
Oh, well, do you want me to say what we were talking about? Because I was looking at getting a new bike.
Yeah.
And you talked me into keeping my old bike. So, yeah, it was an amazing conversation.
I know. I wish that was recorded because I got a feeling we can't redo it here, but we'll try. So
Okay.
the thing people, look, ever since I've been into cycling, and there's a lot of guys that listen to the show that are big time bike people, right? There's a guy out in California. He owns a bike shop, and he was in a pro circuit for a while, right? I'm trying to think of the name of his company, something Wheelworks. I'll figure it out while we're talking.
All right.
But he listens to this show. Let's see if I can figure it out here. Wheelworks. No, I can't figure it out there. Let me go to the Twitter. Put it in that Twitter. Because I want to say it correctly, because this guy deserves, if you want to get anything from this guy. I should have sent you to him also. I should have sent you to this guy also. There's a lot of Wheelworks.
He's in California?
Yeah. I'll figure out his name for you at some point.
Okay.
But he's a really good guy. He does consults with me, and I don't want to say his name. I'll give his company, but I can't figure out which one it is. At any rate, he listens to the show. Brent, I don't know if you know who, the guy that counts all my Jesus H. Christ on Twitter. Name is Brent.
No, I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
Yeah. He and Kurt go back and forth every night. You got to be there to love it.
Okay.
He puts together vintage bikes. And one thing I can tell you about a bike is that ever since we created the safety bike back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, meaning we went away from the penny farthing. That was the bike with the big giant wheel on the front and a little tiny wheel on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went to the safety bike. Not a whole lot has changed. The bike is the bike, right? It's two triangles hooked together. You have a seat stay, you have a chain stay, you have a top bar. You can change the rake of the wheel. That's about it. Everything else is just a bike. Right. And when people start saying, "Oh, you need to have the electronic gears," or you need to go to, now it seems like every bike has the disc brakes, but I think I only have one bike with disc brakes. It's a mountain bike, right? Everything else I have is so old.
Yeah, mine has disc brakes.
Both of them, Megan, or just one?
Just the one here in Washington. The one in Arizona does not.
Yeah. Yeah, so does it matter? No. It's all just as good. Every race I did them with brakes on the rims. There's no disc brakes. And if you told me to go back into racing tomorrow, I would not go and buy a current bike. That's if I was racing. I can still make a bike 14 pounds on race day if I wanted to. I have the wheels to make that happen. I have the material to make that happen. The fact that some of these bikes are going...
You should...
Go on.
Oh, I was going to say you should talk about... Well, you can finish your thought, but we should talk about the wheels, the race day wheels and the regular day wheels. Because that was a huge thing for me.
Yeah, that was confusing. We'll get to that. But if I had to go racing today, I would not go spend $16,000 or $18,000 on a brand new bike. That's crazy money. I thought it was crazy when we were spending $5,000 and $6,000 on bikes. The bike that Specialized gave me for free, they just shipped it to me and said, "Hey, use it at your will because you're an influencer." I looked the bike up and it was $8,000-9,000, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I paid less for motorcycles, right?
Right.
And that's what bikes are.
Yeah, if you want. Yeah, now bikes are between, if you want all the great gears or whatever, all the newest stuff, you're spending $12,000 to $16,000.
Oh, absolutely. It's gotten crazy.
Yeah.
I had a buddy that just got a brand new Bianchi with all the electronic shifters and the this and the that. I think he was north of $16,000 on a bicycle. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
And I'm sitting there going, if I started racing, like got real competitive tomorrow, I would not buy a new bike, right? So let's get into what's important, right? When I train on an old 1981 lug steel frame DeRosa. It's a classic. It's right behind me. Let's see if you can see it. Can you see pieces of it? Yeah, you can see pieces of it right below. You can kind of see it below my mic behind me.
Right.
I would train on that bike. Now, that's where the wheels come in because, Meagan, you said, I need to get better wheels. You know, I have carbon fiber wheels on one of them, but not the other. I need to get those. And I was like, wait, you're riding those just to train on? And what was your answer?
Right.
So,
I put them on my bike already, so.
Yeah.
I had before I talked to you. So.
And my feeling is carbon fiber wheels won't hold up. Usually they're made much lighter with fewer spokes. They're race day wheels. Mm-hmm. You know, wheels are the biggest improvement you could put on a bike, and the easier roll weight you have, the better, right? So fewer spokes, more aerodynamic, lighter rim makes you a whippier rider, right? You can take off faster. And carbon fiber wheels are great for that. I have a shed full of them, Zip and everything else, Roval, you name it. I got every brand you can find, right? Because they gave them to me for free. And boy, those wheels are great. But you can't even, like now you guys have disc brakes. On those things, you would have to change out your brake pads. You couldn't run the same brake pads on those as you could because you would just burn them up, right? You would just seize up those brake pads. But now everyone has disc brakes, so you don't have to worry about that. But the bottom line is you're still dealing with a really lightweight thing. Now, I would train on Caesariums. Now, Caesariums are a faster, lighter wheel, but it's aluminum rims. And the spokes are pretty robust, even though they're flat spokes. And you could train on those. They're kind of bulletproof. But I would use Mavics.
Right.
I counted them up for you in a video. On that steel frame bike behind me, the back wheel has 32 spokes and the front wheel has 28. Those are heavy, and they're all double butted. These are heavy-ass wheels. It's kind of like training with ankle weights on, right? Why not have a heavier bike?
Right. Exactly.
Heavier wheels, and then when it's time to go race, go pull out some fancy carbon fiber out of the garage, throw some carbon fiber Zip wheels on it, get it down to 14 pounds, and go race, right? It's two different bikes. But if you told me I had to take that steel, go on, Meagan.
Oh no, you go for it.
If you told me I had to take that steel frame bike and go race, I can take that bike because in 1981, that was what they were using in the Tour de France. That particular model, that was one of the top bikes you can get, right?
Right.
Okay. So I can take that bike now. Let me see what I have on it. Hang on. Yeah, I have an aluminum seat post. I can put a carbon fiber seat post on it. I already have carbon fiber handlebars, and I have really lightweight carbon fiber stem and all of that. But I can lighten that bike up. I can even put a carbon fiber fork on it and then ride that bike the way it is and go, right? Go on.
Right.
What were you going to say?
I think you're really breaking up.
You're not breaking. You're not breaking up. I can see you and hear you, but you can't hear me.
No, you're really breaking up. I was trying to see. Hold on a second. Let me.
Is it your? It might be your. Are you in a strong area?
Yeah, I should be okay. Okay, it seems a little better right now.
Okay, I can hear you, but now your face is frozen. So we'll see what happens there. I think Megan's having trouble.
I think I am.
But Meagan, can you hear me now? Because I can hear you.
Is that any better?
Yeah. Are you on the phone? I don't think she can hear me. Meagan?
I can hear you now. There you are.
Okay. We're back. So what were you going to say about bikes?
No, you were talking. You talk.
Yeah.
I was interrupting to say I couldn't. You were breaking up.
Okay. So, yeah, I can literally take that steel frame bike and make it doable to race on and be pretty comfortable because steel, there's a lot less vibration. You go a lot longer. That's the other great thing about steel.
Right.
Now,
Right.
I get it. You're going, old man Vinny, that's outdated. You're Gran Torino. Okay. Ride on something different. Ride on carbon fiber or go get yourself some titanium. Go do whatever you want. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's the part that's crazy. If you could go out and buy a $12,000, $15,000 bike and it's going to be some carbon fiber thing that was printed out on a computer. And you can actually do way better than that if you got yourself, a titanium bike. Right. That's the part people don't realize.
Right.
Or spend more money on getting your gears right. That's the other thing people don't realize. There's so many things you could do with your rings, your front rings, your rear cassette, to figure out what works for you. And no one spends time on that.
Right.
At all.
So that was the first thing that I learned was changing my cassette. So you have just the factory cassette on your bike. And here where I live in Washington is only hills. So if I went a bigger cassette, I actually got more rotation and it was easier to go up hills. And so that was the first thing I learned on bikes. So I have a bigger cassette.
Yeah, gearing matters, knowing what gear. And look, people don't realize this, and it's a big rabbit hole to go down. But crank length, like right now, because the guy that's winning the tour, hands down, he's using a 165 crank length. So everyone's going, short cranks. That's the way to go. And then other people will go, no, long cranks. Back when Laurent Fignon was winning, long, you need 185s. He was a taller guy. You got to get the cranks that fit your body, right? Like for me, 177.5s are perfect. And by the way, it's hard to put longer than 180 cranks on a bike because every bike company puts that bottom bracket right in the same spot. You could put longer ones on mountain bikes because they raise that bottom bracket up some. And so you have to wonder, why do they put between 165 and 175 millimeter on all bikes when some people are 6'5" and other people are 4 feet tall or 4'5", right?
Right.
Those people would not use the same size cranks. So there's a lot of optimization you can do with a bike before you spend one dime on, these $15,000 bikes. I can get someone to go faster with a good bike fit, with the right cranks on a bike that is way heavy than, because when you start talking this weight weenie shit and you start getting into, you need to be in this and you need to be in that. No, you're missing out. The geometry is the first thing. The angle, your angles, your hip angle, how your bike fits you. And I know people are out there listening to this right now going, oh, yeah, that's what really matters, right? The bike people out there, they're going, oh, yeah, all of that matters more. But no one knows that. And by the way, not all of the I'm going to say the guy's name. I want to say I know what it is. It's Robinson, because I was thinking, what's Dave's last name? It's Robinson Wheelworks. Let me see if I can look that up. And this guy knows more about bikes. Yeah. Robinson Wheelworks is the guy I was trying to come up with. He will build you wheels if you want. He will tell you. I trust everything that guy has to say. He knows more about bikes. He's forgotten more than most people know. And he's in California.
Okay.
Northern California, so not that far away from you. Right.
Awesome.
And he'll explain to you.
What?
Go on.
Is it David? Did you say David?
Yeah. His name is. I think his name is David Robinson. If you go to Twitter.
Davey?
No, you're thinking of Davey. You're thinking of Davey Robeson, who's in the group.
Okay.
They're two different people.
That is who I was thinking.
No, this is Dave Robinson, and he could tell you more about bikes. He could tell you more about crank length. He could tell you more about everything than most people.
So what I'm hearing is give him a call.
I would. He'll teach you how to save money and only get what's worth it. And I think in the long run, he won't screw you.
There you go.
That's the problem in bikes, is people getting screwed. And the guy, he hooked me up during the pandemic. I mean, I had I was riding on rollers. Do you know what rollers are? Are you familiar with rollers?
Yeah. You ride those versus just a standard.
I do everything. I got a set of rollers right there. Yeah.
Man, I'm impressed. I always look at those people and I think I would just fall off.
That was the original way that before there were, track stands and all that, where you could just hook your back wheel up. That's how we all did it back in the early 80s. Okay. You could get to, once you get good in rollers, it really helps you go in a straight line, because if you go off, I mean, you go down. So you learn pretty quickly.
Right, you crash.
But it's not long. You'll see people on rollers and they'll let their hands go. They'll take their jersey off, put their jersey back on, do all kinds of crazy stuff on rollers. You get there pretty quickly. It's like as soon as you learn how to ride rollers. But yeah, that's why that DeRosa is in here, is if I want to get on that, I just throw it right here on my rollers, right? I just pull them out and put it right in front of the television.
Right.
But if, the reason the Klein is in here is because I have power cranks on those. And folks, if you want to learn something crazy, go look into did you look at power cranks after I told you to do that the other day and where they are?
I haven't looked them up yet, but I'm going to. I want some now. First, I got to get my, the RPMs up to lower my gears, do what you told me how to train.
You haven't done that yet?
My first goal.
You haven't have you tried it?
No, I haven't. I tried it once since we talked the other day.
How did it work out? Was it difficult?
It's easier. So, I mean, you're just spinning faster, right?
Yeah.
Zone 2 I didn't keep it zone 2, but other than that, it was a great ride. So it's harder too, because I have a ton of hills just to go from my house anywhere. So, that's a little slower.
Yeah. When you're going up a hill, it's going to be RPMs. Tough. Yeah. It's going to be hard to stay. Folks, she's at 80. You're at 80, right? RPMs?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I told you we want to eventually get you plus 90, like 92, 94.
Yeah, you want me 90 in the 90s.
Yeah.
So you told me to lower my gears and just spin it.
Get used to spinning. And the best way to do that, as I told her, folks, is in the off season, take your bike, put a fixed gear on it put a nice, easy fixed gear on it, and just go out and start spinning it up. That's the best way.
Yep.
I used to put my fixie on my rollers and just sit there like it's like Flight of the Bumblebee. And I was between 95 and 100 RPMs on a fixie on rollers, right? And that's how you get good.
Right.
That's how you get your diamond legs back. You sharpen those legs up like a diamond. Because you got to get used to your brain. You got to train your brain to go that speed. And then when you start adding a tougher gear to it and you're still doing 92 to 95 RPMs, now you're hauling ass, right?
Exactly. So I'm excited to really give it a go in more rides than obviously just one, but just to keep doing it and just get faster and up my gears. Yeah, and it takes time. Need for the speed.
Yeah, everybody wants the speed, right? You want to be able to say you did a century in 5 hours. Right? Mm-hmm. I was telling my buddy Don Coddington.
The billionaire Don Coddington's Friday, 5 o'clock.
I was telling Don, I was like, I've done a bunch of rides, 200 miles. I brought them in at, 9:15, 9:30 back in the day, which means I did back-to-back centuries nonstop at 4 hours and, 30 minutes or so, right? To do that. And it's okay to do that in one century, but when you can go another 100 miles and do that again, that means you're hauling ass, right?
Right.
And he goes, "You've never done that." And I went, you know what? When I moved into this house, Serena found this certificate that was given to me by my buddy Chris Kossman in a double century that he used to run out in where Anna lives now, out in wine country. I think it was called the something double. I can't remember. But anyone who came in under 10 hours got the certificate, and there's a significant amount of climbing in it. And I think it showed where I did 9:35 for 200 miles, like 202 miles, which is not shabby. Wow. And by the way, we couldn't draft or do anything in those rides. There were non-drafting rides. So you weren't drafting, you weren't pulling off of someone else, and they weren't pulling off of you, But they handed out certificates for guys who were able to do that. And it wasn't many. And yes, I'm bragging right now, but what I'm telling you is you can get there, but it's not easy, right? You got to spin for a long time. And from spinning, and that, so when you're on your indoor, you have an indoor bike, you still have that Peloton you were talking about?
I do still have the Peloton, yes.
Use it to your advantage, meaning don't do a Peloton class. Just use it as a bike. No, I canceled that once during spring, summer. I figured I didn't want to do that till rain season. Look, turn on the television. You can see RPMs on that bike, right? Start working on that.
I'm not I'll check on that. I can work on that.
Yeah, start working on it. And by the way, I'll tell you this about power cranks. They make you a better runner than they do cyclist. I know that sounds weird and crazy.
I'm sorry, Wood.
The power cranks.
You're a better runner than a cyclist?
No, when you use power cranks, it doesn't make you that much better at cycling, but it makes you a better runner.
It does make me a better runner.
Now, I'm talking about the power cranks. We must be cutting out again.
You are. So I'm sorry. I got that cycling will make me a better runner, but I do feel like I'm a better runner since I started cycling.
It does make you a better runner, but using power cranks will make you a much better runner, is what I was saying. Did you hear it that time?
Yep. I'm going to get those power cranks. That'll be my next purchase.
I'm telling you, the pros won't use them because it really makes those guys look like pussies, because you start working hip flexor muscles in an aerobic way that you've never done before. And they hate using them. Those things don't work. They detrain your other muscles. Yeah, because your hip flexors are laying dormant. You're now using hip flexors.
Right.
Italian cycling coaches would put people on the track stand, and they would have them put one foot on the bench and just use one foot to spin, right? And they would have them do that for 10 minutes and then do the other foot for 10 minutes. That's like using a power crank. And that would wear you the fuck out because you're using muscles in your hips that you never use. As a matter of fact, whenever I use my power cranks, I notice muscles in my abdomen that I never notice anywhere else, right? Like,
nice. I'm going to get those.
Yeah, because... I can see my muscles in my abs. I don't have any fat there, right? And I do ab work twice a week. But when I do power cranks, I'll start seeing other muscles appear that weren't there before, because you're lifting your legs up every time. You think you're spinning until you use a power crank. It sounds like I'm doing a commercial for power cranks, but are they still available? I don't even know if they even still sell them. I'm going to look it up. Mine are so old.
I'm really curious because I want ab muscles.
Power crank set. Let me see if they still make them.
You just told a bunch of bikers that they could get extra ab muscles by using power cranks. So now you have all your listeners wanting power cranks.
I'm going to take set out. Yeah, it's a company called Power Cranks, and I don't know if they still exist.
Oh, no.
Hang on. I'm still looking here. Everything
you just
Shimano.
Set me up saying I get more abs, and
you could probably find them. All right. All right. That. So I'm seeing photos for them. Power crank. God, the computer used to be cool. I might be talking about a product you can't get anymore, but I bet you can find them used.
You know who might know? Dave Robinson.
Dave Robinson would know.
That would be a question for him.
And by the way, the power cranks I have are the adjustable ones. Like you can adjust the length. I'm looking at it here.
Yeah, when you sent me the video of yours, it did look like you could adjust it.
Yeah. Mine was set at 175.5, just like everything else. I'm trying to see if I can find them anywhere else. You folks, you can just put in power cranks. They're made out of. I'm not kidding about this. They're made out of brass, so they'll never rust or anything. They're very heavy, and it's a great training tool. And yes, I don't just use them indoors. I used to take them outdoors too. And I'm a big fan of this product. Every year, and early in the year, like all of January and February, I would spend a couple of hours per week on the power cranks. At first, you can only do about 10 minutes, and then you can't even lift your hips up anymore. And then before you know it, you can do 15 minutes and then 20 minutes. It builds up pretty quickly, but you're working a group of muscles in an aerobic capacity that never gets aerobic work. It's the same hip flexors that you use when you do sit-ups. But you only do, if you're doing sit-ups correctly, you're only doing 20, 25 sit-ups if you're slanted or if you're hanging, right?
Right.
You're now doing repetitions on these hip flexors, and you'll start seeing muscles right at the top of your hip that you didn't know existed, right? It's pretty, I know I'm making a lot out of this, but it's a pretty cool thing. I think the guy's still out there. I want them now. You'll find them if you can't find them anywhere else, either Chris Robinson will find them for you. Is it Chris or Dave? I think his name is Chris.
I don't know. You said Dave before, so is it Chris? The way you just said it, I bet you it's Chris Robinson.
It's Dave. He's going to hate me for this because, here, he's in my phone. Let me find him. I'm going to put in Dave Robinson. This is the best podcast ever.
We should have bet on it, what his name was, before you went to your phone.
He's the coolest guy ever. Dave Feldman? No.
You could just do Robinson. Since you don't know his first name. Man, Chris. This is a big fail.
Yeah. It might be Chris. Chris, I'm so sorry. Let's see. He's Robinson Wheel Works for lack of anything else. I can't figure it out. Isn't it horrible when you can't figure something out? Sometimes the computer lets you figure things out.
And then you remember after.
You see, it's because I'm on.
You'll remember like in the middle of the night.
Okay, it's Chris. You see, it's Chris Robinson. And I was calling the guy Dave.
Chris Robinson.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, sorry.
I said your name wrong.
Sorry, Dave and Chris. Because I was thinking of Davey Robinson. I was thinking of Davey Robinson. And
because when you said that, I was like, I know Davey. Why didn't I know he was a cyclist?
It's Chris.
I thought he was a runner. So.
It's Chris from Robinson Wheel Works. He'll know, yes. Or I bet Brett Budgar will know. Somebody will know besides me whether you can still get those. And if not, if you pick up some on the used market, grab them. Grab them and have them.
Okay.
I showed you mine the other day on that orange bike when I sent that video.
Yep, you did.
And those things work like a charm. So
yeah, I'm excited about those. You got me at abs.
Look, it's like, wait, I'm going to see I'm going to see hip flexor muscles. I'm in.
I'm going to get new muscles. You had me.
More muscles for mommy.
It's like, take my credit card.
Look, they're not cheap, but nothing in cycling is. But if you find some used ones, sometimes people are like, fuck it, just take these things. I hate them. And they'll just sell them to you for a few $100. So.
The thing is that with cycling, if there are less expensive sports out there, so choose wisely.
Yeah, and I'm here to tell you, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't.
Exactly, and that's why I'm really glad that we actually had the conversation, because I'm going to, I switched my tires back to my old tires. They're heavier. It's going to help the workout. Now I have race day tires. So I am.
Wheels, Megan. Let's get into the right terminology.
Sorry,
wheel sets.
Okay, I've only been doing this not even a year yet. So
okay.
But, I'm a baby.
Let this be the first thing you learn. Wheels. We need wheels.
Wheels.
Yeah.
Yes, wheels.
Okay.
So, yeah, I learned a lot in our conversation a few days ago.
And I'm here to help you whenever you want to learn more. Look, I'm here to give information, and this is good information. And people are going to go, stay in your lane, bro. You know what you're talking about. No, I've been cycling for a long time. Even though I can't remember Chris's name, I know a little something about cycling, and he knows a hell of a lot more, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
He can even help you. I mean, you have great frames, right? You already have really good frames. Yeah. If you want to upgrade, he's the guy that can sell you the stuff. Yeah, and he'll probably work you a good deal. Yeah, he's not going to screw people. I guess
I'll give him a call for my Ultegras because I want to switch my 105s to Ultegras.
Like I said, he helped me with Durace. I needed the front derailleur. I needed one side, and he was able to find exactly what I needed from a 2015, Durace set, and he got it to me. Boom.
Oh.
He also got me a different crankset. He got me a different Durace crankset and he goes, yeah, I got that. And it was during the pandemic when no one had anything, and he happened to have it and shipped it to me. Well,
I'll be giving Chris a call.
Yeah.
Chris Robinson.
Robinson Wheel Works.
Robinson's Wheel Works.
Yeah. So anyway, I hope his name was Chris. I'll give you his number if you'd like, or what I think his number to be. Yeah, you can text
me his number. That would be great. And then I can give him a call because I am looking at upgrading from my 105s.
He would be the guy to call. He's very knowledgeable. So, folks, Meagan, where can they find you? Over in the Facebook group?
I'm in the Facebook group. You can also find me on Instagram. I'm unapologetically Meg_Meg. So, and I have before and after pictures there on my Instagram. And
I'm going to have to check that out. I never look at anything. I see when you click on my thing, but I never go and look at my thing.
Oh, yeah. I go and watch your videos. And
let me see if I can find you here.
Unapologetically_, and it's MEAG.
Yeah, I got it. I got you here. Oh, yeah, you got your bike stuff on. Look at you. Ooh, look at this before and after. You don't look like the same human being. I'm going to give you a like.
No, I don't. Do I?
No.
Just give me a like.
I just gave you a like. I'm going to give you another like.
It's funny. We had our granddaughters here for the 1-year-old birthday party, and they took a picture, and I was like, I had to double look at the picture. I was like, who is that girl?
It's great. Here you are. Oh, my God. And one of them you have a bathing suit on, and the other you have like the women's jog bra.
Oh, my sports bra. Yeah.
Your body, you have visible abs.
I know that was like a year when that was right when I started losing the 40 pounds that I gained after I said, okay, we're just sticking NSNG. And then that was that one whole year.
This is, geez, look at this. This might be the most amazing one. Let me give it a like. This one, I don't know if you remember it. That photo? Can you see it? I don't think she can see it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah. That's probably the most amazing one. Mainly because you got a better haircut.
That was great.
Yeah. Much better haircut. Anyway, folks, you can go find Meagan on Instagram at unapologetically Meg, MEAG. You know what to do with me. Yep. We have a new movie out. Meagan, can you push that movie in the Facebook group a little bit? Get people to watch that thing.
I watched it. It was a great movie.
Oh, thank you. Go check out Beyond. No, not that one.
Mm-hmm. How about Dirty Keto?
Dirty Keto. I don't even know what I have out right now.
You have Dirty Keto out. Just came out. You guys got to watch it because it actually is really good. And that's a trap people get stuck in so often. I'm so thankful I never did that.
I saw one comment, and the guy said it was a good comment and a bad comment. He goes, "Hey, man, thanks for putting the movie out. It was really great. Really learned a lot, but I didn't like that you did a hit piece on GLP-1s." Did you feel like I did a hit piece? One of the doctors started talking about it, and I just included it in the movie. And this guy knows a lot about GLP-1s. That's not a hit piece. That's a doctor's opinion. There you have it. Believe it or not, I don't care.
I think that should be, we have people read your ebook, and I think that people should have to watch Dirty Keto as well. Yeah. Because it was so good.
We should make that a stipulation for getting in one of the groups or something. Have you watched Dirty Keto?
I do. I think so. I think so too, because there's so much information, and a lot of people learn that way more, the visual versus necessarily reading. I think it would help a ton of people out.
Yeah, because we lay it out.
Video. Good job.
So thank you.
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you. We're proud of each other.
Thank you.
We are. We've never met in person, Megan. Why can't we make that happen?
Yes, we have.
Oh, where were we?
We met. You came to the Seattle meetup a long time ago.
That's what.
I would love to meet you again.
Yeah, we got to get together. Come on.
Exactly. You can train me on or actually, you could fit me. Make sure I'm fit right on my bike.
I would have to pull out all my old tools, my plumb, and all of it. Figure it out. Yeah.
Exactly. I got fit with a plumb too. He's like, I know I'm really old school, but and he takes out his little plumb and fits me. That was in Arizona, so I just try to do my bike how it was there.
Yeah, I mean, all these people use the computers now and everything else. There was a guy in California that did the computer thing. And someone came back and said, "Yeah, I'm getting this pain in the back. It feels like a hatchet right between my shoulder blades." And he tried to fit them again. He's like, now my hands are numb and my balls are numb, because that happens to guys. So he goes, Hang on.
It's not a walk in the park for a girl either, just so you know.
Right. No, you guys are sitting on your vagina all the time. I mean, sometimes we can move our stuff out of the way. So, I happened to be in his shop that day, and he goes, wait a minute. Hey, Vinny, do you have your stuff in the car? I said, what stuff? Your plumb and your device? I went, yeah. He goes, go get it. And fixed the guy right up. And it was just nice. A little here, a little there. It was mostly upper body with him. The bottom was perfect. The legs and everything were perfect. I didn't even have to check that, but I did. But it was the way. And, I think we put a little shorter stem on his bike, and we raised it up just a little bit. We put another, loop or two in there. And he's like, oh, my God, everything went, I'm fine now. It's amazing what small changes could do to make someone ride different. If you're wearing your bike like a cheap leisure suit, then, you're not on it right. You need to look right on the bike. So
I agree, 100%.
We'll make that the final word. Folks, you know what to do. Go get the movie Dirty Keto. It's on Amazon. Before you go to Amazon, go to VinnyTartaries.com. Click through the banner. Rate and review both of those. You were talking about high blood pressure during the show, and I bet you never thought that there's actually a high blood pressure song. So I'm going to see if I have it here.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a high blood pressure song. Let's see if it's right here. Yeah, I think this is it. Okay, here we go. On behalf of Meagan North Hawks, my name is Vinny Tartarich. Put life into living and do it with Dr. John. Yeah.
I get a high blood pressure when you call my name. I get a high blood pressure when you call my name. I get a high blood pressure, baby, when you call my name. I get a high blood pressure when you call my name.
Thank you for listening to Fitness Confidential. Get more information at VinnyTortorich.com. Remember to rate and review us on iTunes and follow Vinny on Instagram and Twitter.